Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey, welcome back at ya. This is DBDS Live, man. I'm ready for another exciting, crazy show, and I'm here with my brother, my partner, DBDS life coach, Carl. How you feeling today, my man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Long week last week. A lot of hot weather, but I'm enjoying the weekend. So temperature's gonna drop a little bit down here for us this week.
Okay, brother. Yeah, this weather has been crazy unpredictable. You know what? Everything is great. I would say like the DBDS group keeps growing with amazing people in different perspectives. So, we're learning off each other, which means we're open-minded to some of these nuggets we're applying to our lives. But first, listen, Carl, I just got to give a special shout out to my brother Minty, because this brother been posting some amazing topics, which opens up the gate for great, mature conversations on personal relationships. For example, he posted, I think last week, men only, what advice would you give women? And women only, what advice would you give men? And that alone allow people to express their point of view without any negative backlash. And that's what we need. What are your thoughts on the group, my man?
I think it's what needs to happen. Definitely can allow insight from both sides. There's a lot of times, women want to hear from men want to hear from women. I think he had a great another post behind that. He said, reading the comments, and I want to have people, I know I did, and I'm sure you did. I know he said it, read all the comments that were put in both, posts. So why is it so hard to find a relationship?
Yeah.
If we're understanding what each side is looking for. So definitely a great conversation starter. That's what I love about this group is, as we build these things, and I believe we're going to have some successful relationships come out the group too. So that's going to be another side of it. So
that's what I'm talking about, man. Let's drop a bomb for my brother Minty. He's hot, man. Yes, indeed, my brother. However, listen, we do have a few rotten apples. We do have people that do not follow the rules. They like to use excessive profanity or harassing other people or attempting to post irrelevant thoughts that have nothing to do with stimulating a mature conversation. So as we stated before, listen, that won't be tolerated. There are plenty of ratchet groups out there that you can join. And also those tick for tack arguments. You want to go back and forth, like Aaliyah, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, join those other groups out there, because in DBDS, we're all about quality. And also, listen, it's hard to monitor almost close to 8,000 people. So anyone in the group, if someone is harassing you, if someone is trying to shove their beliefs down your throat, make sure you reach out to myself as well as Carl. Other than that, absolutely. So other than that, the Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters website will be launching soon. It will have coaching sessions. It has a dating site, which is available right now, dbdssingles.com. So if you're relationship ready, make sure you check out the site, dbdssingles.com. It will have courses. It'll have free, valuable information from credible people, such as the one that's going to be coming on our show today. And also, it will have books and valuable gems, man. So I'm pretty excited. I mean, Carl, I know you're excited as well, my man.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, when it drops, it's going to be fire definitely out there. Just the wealth of information, man. Just like we talk about this building the world of relationships, for people who, as I tell people, when you're single, it's the time to do the work. There's going to be so much information in there for those who are single to increase your value system so that you attract the right type of people. And the free videos and everything that's on there, I'm telling you, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm absolutely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. We'll be making that announcement soon in our group as well as our personal pages. Also, I want to give a special shout out to our group expert, relationship advisor Cameron, for her amazing video that she sent over to me that deal with how to deal with grief after a divorce. So that's That will be on our website. So listen, if you're looking to enhance your personal development skills or you want some guidance on how to obtain a healthy monogamous relationship, look no further till DBDS singles, as well as Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters.com, which will be approaching. Also, today's show is titled Qualities That Will Make You Less Desirable as a Man. Last show, we discussed qualities that will make you less desirable as a woman. Today, we are touching on to the brothers because we like to empower our sisters and our brothers out there. What you think of this topic, Carl?
Absolutely. We definitely got to keep that balance in what we're talking about, because it's not one-sided. I think that's how society is kind of got it fixed, fixated where men versus women, women versus men, and we got to come away from that. So, definitely we got to, and again, as I tell people, what I love about this show is we're not tearing nobody down, whether it's men or women. We're giving information from quality people, insight from quality people to help build, again, your value, the things that you may take a look at. Sometimes it may step on someone's toes, but, for the guys, I tell them today, if it hits you, take a look in the mirror, fix it. And that, like I said, it'll allow you to attract the quality women that you're looking to attract, instead of some women who may approach you just because you're leading with your wallet, so that's not something you want to do. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Man, absolutely, brother. Now, before we bring our guest into the studio, we have a couple of comments right quick. So I'm going to go to the first comment.
Oh, Naomi said, yes, got my DBDS t-shirt. I'm official now. Congratulations.
What? Absolutely, man. Let's go ahead and drop a bomb for my sister. Listen, if you want a DBDS t-shirt right here, you want to be official, make sure you get in contact with me right away. And also, it will be on dearbrothersdearsisters.com. So, welcome to the family, Naomi. We appreciate that. So it's about that time to bring our guest into the studio, Carl. I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Okay. So our first guest coming into the DBDS live studio. Listen, she was here before. Very knowledgeable, lots of wisdom. And what I love about this sister, she is straightforward. So welcome back to the DBDS live studio, my sister Charay.
Hi.
Hey, Charay.
Hello. Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we have some new viewers. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Okay, well, my name is Charay Vaughn. I am from Westbury, Long Island, New York. Currently living in South Carolina, Florence to be exact. And I'm on the show because my brother Lawrence invited me, and I'm always willing to take time to be able to give some encouraging words, motivational encouragement, and inspirement to our brothers and sisters, God's children. Amen.
Amen.
And so a little bit about me is that I am an actress. First, I'm a child of God. I'm a mom to 3 beautiful girls. I'm an actress. I have a online talk show. And I'm also a writer, producer, and director. And I'm working on my first film called The Wake Up 666. And it's dedicated to people who think that suicide is the answer. So in this film, we have a woman who got sick, and she ends up giving up her faith on God. She kills herself and wakes up in hell. So it's Satan's message to those.
Ooh, my sister's doing big things. Please be on the lookout for everything that she's putting out there. And speaking of that, listen, Charay, I have some comments for you right quick.
So Nettie said, hello, Charay.
Okay, next comment.
And we got Dr. Virginia said, hi, Sister Charay.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes. Well, it's a pleasure for you to come back on the show. We greatly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And next, coming into the DBDS live studios, his first time here, but listen, the brother is very inspirational. Plenty of wisdom. My brother, Frank Henderson. Welcome to DBDS Live.
What's up? How you doing?
Yes, my brother. Yes, glad to have you aboard, man. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Well, my name is Frank Henderson. I'm from Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I'm living now in the Raleigh-Durham area. I'm the pastor of Epic Fellowship Church, and I love hanging out with people like yourself and Mr. Carl and Ms. Charay. And I'm looking forward to the night to talking about the things that we have set forth to talk about. So let's get it in.
That's what I'm talking about. And we have another comment. I'm going to squeeze him in while we're doing this right quick.
Hi.
That's from our brother Ken Cannon. He said, "Hey y'all, what's going on, brother Ken?"
Hey Ken, man, we have to get you back on the show, my brother. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, so we have such an exciting show for you guys today. Now, I'm the only brother from Connecticut. Everybody's from the Carolinas on this show today, but it's all good. It's all, you know. So, I just think right now there's I'll say unfortunate battle, between the battle of the sexes, and it's been going on for a very, very long time. And I believe it's a waste of time to join that battle because it's not going to get you anywhere. Brothers who want a serious relationship, but for some odd reason they feel that they can't get the woman that they want to be with, or they feel like the good ones are getting taken off the market. Listen, I think the reality is it could very well be your character. So to my brothers, just like we discussed some inappropriate behaviors of our sisters on the last show, today we're going to discuss some inappropriate behaviors of our brothers out there. And we're going to give you some nuggets on how to reinvent and reevaluate yourself to change for the better, to become a better man. But before we get deep in this topic, we have a DBDS Anonymous section where people post their thoughts, their issues, and look for us to guide them in the right direction. So I have my brother Carl read the letter. Take it away, Carl.
So it says DBDS letter. Hey, DBS family, I could use your advice on something. So just to give some background info, my ex and I broke up about a month and a half ago. Our relationship was long distance, and we are still long distance. She's in a different city than I am. It's a 4-hour drive difference. I do want her back, and there was a plan in motion for me to hopefully be in the same city soon due to the fact I have a couple of interviews for jobs in her city. We both went to school in the city she's residing in, and I did like the city, so I would be going for the job in me instead of her. But I did also betray her trust by cheating on her with her best friend and multiple women prior. So it's definitely going to take a bit to rebuild that foundation. We are at a point where we are talking again positively and on an emotional level. She does want to reconcile, so things are looking up in that regards. My question to you guys is this. She is hesitant as she still thinks of what I did to betray her trust and explain to her that cheating is a mistake, not a choice. And I understand that will take time to heal. But what more could I do to do long distance so that in a way she can lean towards giving us another shot while also respecting the boundary of giving her space? I forgot to mention that this is also my first time going through a breakup, so any insight or ideas would be appreciated as I'm still learning every day how to deal and cope with this. What I don't get is that I told her that it will never happen again and it's out of my system, but she's still not feeling me. What can I do? I truly want to marry this woman one day.
Okay, brother. Whew. A lot to digest and to dissect, but don't worry, we have some experienced, knowledgeable people that's definitely going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So first, I'm coming to my sister Charay. How can we help this brother out? What are your thoughts?
First, I want to ask him, I want to know, how old is he? Only because he said that his cheating was a mistake and not a choice. Okay. Secondly, I want him to take time to heal. Being that this is his first relationship, he needs to take time to know himself. He doesn't know, what's out of his system. He's not aware of that, being that this is his first relationship. So he definitely needs to take time to reflect on himself. It's a lot that I want to say, but I'm going to stick with just a letter and what he's stating here. And he wants advice on how he can win this woman back. So take time to yourself first. Get your job, get settled in, just be friends. Because on the woman aspect, you cheated with her friend, her best friend, not just some stranger in the bar or on the street or at your job, but her best friend. And then not just her, but multiple other women. So it's not going to go away that easy. And it's only been a month. You
Woo.
haven't even given that time yet to really digest. And it's not for her because it's not her letter. So I can't touch on her what she needs to do because
Gotcha.
it's too early to be moving back trying to work things out because the emotions are still there, the memories are still there, it's fresh, and it's going to clash. So take time to reflect on yourself. Get yourself situated first.
Okay. Very well said. Straight shooter. That's what I love about you. I'm gonna post this comment right quick before we come to my brother Frank. There you go.
There we go.
I think it comes from Dayton No Nos. Showing up consistently as her friend will be key. He cannot force his readiness on her.
Yeah, I absolutely
I
agree.
agree.
Now, during the course of the show, I am going to be taking some comments from Facebook, and I am going to be putting them in the comment section. Okay, my peoples. So now I'm coming to my brother Frank. Man, this brother he needs help. How can we assist him?
Well, I think one of the first things he's got to do is just really humble himself. He's got to humble himself because it's an extremely that the letter is written in arrogant ink.
Ooh.
You know, because it's the betrayal for me. You know, it's hard to betray someone, betray their trust to someone that you're in relationship with and you care about them, but yet you make a choice to go out and betray them, but yet not understand their hesitancy about dealing with you. It's not just that you cheated on her, it's also that you cheated on her with her best friend. And he has to climb an emotional Mount Everest because it is going to take her a long time to heal and to just simply be able to not think about what he did. So he's got a long road to try, but he's got to first, he got to humble himself all the way down. He can't talk about, I made him a mistake. He can't talk about any of that. He's got a long road to hoe. And I wish you the best, bro. I wish her the best because really, if you think about it, she's the one that's been thrown off of Mount Everest. Her man and her best friend did her in. For her to even deal with any of them moving forward is going to take a miracle. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of trust building to do. And I wish you the best, man. I'm not trying to come down on you. I just want you to know you got a long road to go. It's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in 6 months. Get ready, man. Put your work boots on because to win her back is going to take God and a whole lot of practical application on your behalf.
Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying, man. If I was to use the analogy of a football game, he's trying to throw that Hail Mary pass. He's trying to go for the gusto, man, but it may be out of reach. I'm going to pull up another comment right here from my sister Angela. She posts right in Facebook, but that's what she says.
Okay. She said, I would never take you back. Not only that you cheated with her best friend. How trifling on both of y'all's parts. Leave that woman alone so the man who will properly love her and not hurt her to the core can find her.
Okay. Very well said, Angela. I mean, some sisters, when they put themselves in these positions, they take men back because they're so emotionally attached. But I think this is a different circumstance around this time. Carl, what are your thoughts and how can we help this brother out?
Well, we talked about the cheating part where you said it was a mistake,
right,
a couple of times. I definitely want to just hit that one more time. It is an absolute choice. You chose to cheat, and it's not. And the reason why this even covers this even more than a mistake because you're saying you cheated with her best friend and multiple other women. So you come back later in the letter and say you told her it's out of your system and it's not going to happen again. How many times did you tell her before this same thing that you weren't going to cheat again and you did? So you have to look at it from her perspective that she gave you the benefit of the doubt at least 1 or 2 times. And now you're sitting here turning around saying, well, she needs to believe me. Why is she not moving as fast as I want to? You created the fire and now you want the fire put out faster than what you started. And it's unfortunate. Truly in a situation, you're looking at jobs, and I hope as you said in the letter, you're moving to the city that she's in but it's not for her. It's for jobs and because you like the city. The best thing I can tell you to do is you need to take some time for yourself. Find you a job, find you an opportunity, you know, get yourself situated and give her space, you know. And I know you said you guys are talking emotional. We're trying to reconcile. You guys need help. She's definitely going to need help because I don't know how she gets past having to forgive you, forgive her friend, and make this work. And you need to figure out why you can't stop being faithful in a relationship.
Word.
You need to figure out what you're lacking. Right. She's not lacking something. What are you lacking that's causing you to cheat that many times? And again, I wish we had the age in there, because if that's a big thing right now at your age, it's only going to get worse as you're getting older if you don't nip this in the bud right now. But the best things I can tell you is you definitely need to give her some space. Focus on you. Let her focus on herself. And understand she does not have to really forgive. Well, she's going to probably forgive you. She doesn't mean forgiveness means reconcile. Every time somebody forgives doesn't mean you have to take somebody back. Yeah, so exactly. She may forgive you, but she doesn't have to take you back. So that's something you need to think about as you're going forward down this journey. You know, and just figure out why you did what you did. You know, what was it? You know, and so because you're saying it's out of your system, what's out of your system? So you should be able to point to yourself and say why you did it, because now it's out of your system. But what is it? What was in your system you had to get out? And is there residue still left in your system that's going to cause you to do this again?
Man, that's very powerful what you stated. And that's so true, man. Listen, if somebody mistreats you on a consistent basis, my people, listen, it's okay to forgive, but you are not obligated to take them back. Absolutely not. Man, coming back to my brother Frank, what else you want to add to this letter, my man?
Yeah, Carl triggered something in me, and I want to say when we look at healthy men and women, I'm talking about healthy men and women, heterosexual, homosexual, trisexual, bisexual, whatever they want to be. Sex is never out of your system. You're hardwired for sex,
right?
So it's not out of his system. What needs to happen is he needs to dig down to motivation. What motivated me to do what I did? Probably is simply because I wanted to. So it's not what's out of your system, it's what's in your system. And what he has to put in his system is the ability to manage his sexual desire. He has to put in his system sexual discipline, because if he doesn't, he's going to do it again.
Absolutely.
Very well said. And part of, I think, that the masculinity is self-discipline, self-regulation, you know. I'm going to pull up another comment from my sister. Plenty of comments. The people are in today. From Alicia.
Which one? Yeah, Alicia said, cheating is only a mistake when you get caught. It's always a choice. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you intentionally plan, execute, and you smash those chocolate chip cookies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Next comment. Oh, just say yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to Nettie right quick. Okay.
And they said if he truly wants to be with her, he will need to be who she needs him to be, not who he wants to be to her. Not to just satisfy his lack. If being away from her is what's best, then so be it. Some things cannot be fixed how we want them, but how they should be, being that it is best for the person if we truly love them.
Absolutely. Take that L, you know, not as a loss, but as a lesson. I'll pull up one more comment before I share my thoughts here. My sister Ville
said, the fact that he thinks it's a mistake and not a choice shows he's not ready for any relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of people zeroing in on that, because I hear people say that all the time. Listen, cheating was a mistake. Listen, I was drunk. It happened. You know, it's a mistake. I don't care what it is. You plan, you execute it. So here's my issue. I mean, most brothers, and I know you're watching the show, such as yourself, think that once it's official or once she becomes your lady, that you stop putting value into the relationship, because now you think, you know, everything is on cruise control, because at this moment you feel that she's so emotionally attached that whenever you foul or invite a lack of respect into the relationship that she will tolerate this inappropriate behavior. And some sisters sadly will put up with it. But in your circumstance, I don't believe that's the case. I believe you're the type of brother who puts value into obtain a relationship, but you don't put the value into maintain a relationship. And once you hit that dead end, you know, your lack of direction, your leadership abilities, that's when you lost her. And now you're trying to find yourself back at square one to try to win her over again. But quite honestly, man to man, listen, I believe you're not relationship ready, just based on what everyone in the comment section, as well as Carl, Frank, and Charay. Listen, cheating is actually a choice because your mind intentionally plans and executes an emotional fear with someone else. So I need for you to acknowledge that so you can self-reflect and change for the better. But my advice will be to work on yourself, like everyone stated on the panel, and give her all the space she needs. And if she decides to give you another chance, then this time put the value in to maintain a relationship. But if she doesn't give you another chance, then take it as an L. And don't take that L as a loss. Take it as a lesson. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and pivot to our show. But before we're doing so, I'm going to come to my sister Charay. What else you want to add to the brother watching the show right now?
I just wanted to say also, just be her friend. Just be the best friend that you can be for her while you're working on yourself. And if things naturally take the course, you know, let it be. But know that she's not ready. And if you really love her, you'll be like, you know, let's give some time to this. You know, I need to work on myself. I love you. I don't want to hurt you again. And just be there for her.
Absolutely. Very well said.
I mean, in any way that she may need your support, your love and support, just be there for her.
Absolutely. And I'll just pull up a few more comments because the brother that wrote the letters watching the show right now. But let's go another comment from Dr. Virginia.
The trust bond has been broken. Trust is earned, not given. Betrayal is freely taking advantage of another one. The young man needs to focus on self-inventory before considering relationships. Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah, very well said, Dr. Virginia. Very well said. From Naomi here.
She said, Jamel, she said, chocolate chip cookies. Laugh out loud. It's like, wow.
I got some.
Okay, listen, Naomi, these brothers out here, man, if to my sisters out there, be careful because some men just want to smash the chocolate chip cookies. That's their only goal. So be careful, you know. Another comment from my brother Frank.
Who was that from Cameron? She said, right on, Frank.
And I'll take one more comment before we proceed with our show.
Naomi said he likes to chase, but once he conquers, he's bored. He is bored.
Ooh. That's very enlightening. That's very true. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pivot to our show. That letter alone was a show within itself, you know. But so now we're going to talk about qualities that makes you less desirable as a man. And the first subtopic that we're going to touch on that I think is very important is being controlling and disrespectful. Listen, thing is, as a man, you have to know the difference between leading and controlling. So we're going to go ahead and break this down right quick. So my thing is that leading has nothing to do with bossing your woman around. In other words, you don't bark out orders and ignore your woman's feelings. Leading is all about guiding and providing direction in a loving and respectful manner. Okay. So I'm coming to my inspirational advisor, Charay. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, I mean, people have many different ways for why they are being controlling. Whatever reason may be that they may have that they may want to be controlling is in order to get over it, you have to seek self-help. A lot of times people go through certain things in their childhood. That's something that I experienced that I have actually talked with Carl before the show about. That may pivot to why they may try to be controlling. If they may have seen their mother be controlling to the father or the father being controlling to the mother, they may possess some of those qualities as they grow up into adulthood. But whatever the reason may be, they have to know that that's not what a relationship is built on, and they have to seek help for that.
Okay, very well said. And help is what people. Okay, coming to my brother Frank. What are your insight on this particular topic?
I think it's a very intense situation, because when you look at it, you've got the balance that you've got to hedge. Like, for instance, we all know as men that have any type of maturity that wants to be in a relationship with a woman that he loves, that you cannot be disrespectful. I mean, you can't be disrespectful to anybody, especially to the person that you say you care about. So you gotta always have a posture of respect. So I could see where that would make a man less appealing to a woman. The other side with the controlling piece is we're not here to control our women. And we're not necessarily here to lead our women. We're here to, as a couple, follow the Lord. Like in the beginning of time, when you think about it, the first couple, nobody was over anybody. If you read Genesis 5, it says that, and he called their name Adam. So they were just one. It wasn't like, hey, Eve, I'm juicing Adam up, but I want you to kind of follow and be in the background, play the background just in case he jacks some stuff up. It was like, and the Lord blessed them. And he told them to be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and take dominion. That was a power couple. Nobody was in charge. It's only after the fall, now your desire going to be to your husband, and he'll rule over thee, and all those kind of things. And then you go back to Christ being the second Adam that comes back to restore things into a proper perspective. So when you talk about husbands and wives, I look at it more from an approach of, we are going to submit ourselves as a couple and follow the Lord. So really, the leading piece, the controlling piece, is a thing that men put in play because they feel like society has told them this is what you should do. But what we really got to do is recognize that the women in our lives, God gave them to us for a reason. They have something to impart into our lives, just like we have something to impart into their lives. And if we recognize that and respect who we're with, and we don't try to control them, we'll recognize that loving each other voluntarily, submitting to God voluntarily, we'll have way more peaceful relationships. But if you are a man and your desire is to control a woman, listen to me, you're playing a game that you are going to always lose.
Woo, okay. Very well said, my brother. Very well said. Powerful. The thing is that you got to have balance. Very well said. I'm coming to my brother Carl. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Definitely agree with Charay and Frank is saying here. One of the things I think you hear the submit word a lot in today's society. As a man, again, as a man should be, a woman should submit unto her husband, a husband submits unto the Lord is how the scripture runs. But you hear a lot of men say, you're going to submit to me. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And to me, men that do that are weak. They're actually, they lack confidence. They lack self-esteem. They're weak-minded in an area that they feel like the only way I'm going to keep her is if I control her, right, and control what she's doing and control. And that's coming from a place of weakness. And, that you got to control her. I don't want someone that I'm controlling. That's not fun, because that takes even more work. Unless if you're working together, it's so much easier. That's when we talk about relationships. When you're working together as a unit, it makes things so much easier. When you're submitting to one another, it makes things much smoother. Doesn't mean you ain't got bumps, but it makes it much smoother. So as a man, if you have to control and dictate and bark orders and all these things, you need to take a look in the mirror. And again, sometimes it comes from what you were exposed to growing up, how you saw things, in other relationships. But you're now at an age, most people watching us, that you're responsible for your behavior. You can't blame because daddy wasn't around no more, or daddy would acted a certain way, or mama did it. You can't blame them no more. At some point in time, you have to take accountability for the way that you're dictating and trying to be a dictator. And that's what control is. You're being a dictator in a relationship, and that's not cool. And then from the side of disrespect, we also have you got to be conscious. How you talk to your wife or your significant other, how you allow people to talk about her in your presence. Go back to the cheating thing. That's disrespecting her. There's a level of different things on disrespect that comes into play that you can't do, that makes you unattractive. So, if you're going to, call her out of her name or belittle her or talk different things, you're disrespecting her. And what woman would want to be with a man that's doing that?
Facts, man. Very well said. I'm just going to pull up a comment from one of our sisters right here.
He said, I'm divorced now because my ex-husband needed to control.
Another one said,
Keisha said, so true, Carl.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole thing is, you're right, man. I think it comes from a weak mindset. I believe like mutual respect should be automatic if you want a healthy relationship with a classy sister. And that means being a man of your word, also self-discipline, which is also important because you're not easily astray in a committed relationship because you're loyal to your woman. And I think these are all important attributes to have, but you also have to be open to learning, growing, and practicing different approaches in order to find the best one to enable you to move yourself in the right direction. And I feel like don't even allow, accepting responsibility to lead you to not accept responsibility, because the thing is that we all have choices to make. And I feel like some brothers don't even don't even know how to lead. So they do become very possessive and they try to control every aspect regarding their relationship, which more than likely is probably based off of fears, insecurities. And when this happens, I feel like sisters, they feel smothered. And therefore, I believe that's when the attraction level decreases. Telling her to call you at a certain time, giving her a curfew, telling her to wash your dishes, wash your clothes. I mean, these are all controlling traits, And my thing is that the best relationships is when a woman feels free. It all starts with humbling yourself. It all starts with having trust. It all starts with just allowing her to freely love you, because the reality is when you lead the right way, the right woman will naturally submit to you, and if you show mutual respect, know how to communicate with your woman, understand her love language, show compassion and empathy, even when you disagree with her, she'll respect you for that. She'll love you for that. And I believe this will increase the attraction level. And my thing is that she'll want to do those things for you in her natural, nurturing, feminine essence. You're not going to want to you don't have to tell her to have a curfew or anything of those natures. She's going to want to be around you. She's going to want to make you a nice, healthy meal, because she knows you're out there in the world carrying the weight of everything on your shoulders. She's going to do those things for you regardless, freely, if you're in your masculine essence. Okay. So with that being said, we are going to take a quick commercial break. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSsingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
Hey, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with my brother, Frank Henderson, my sister, Charay, my DBDS brother, Carl. And listen, it's been nothing but fire. We are talking about qualities that will make you less desirable as a man. And before I give some shout outs to our viewers, I have a quick comment right here.
From Keisha, she said, "You just preached a sermon, Jamel. You teaching now."
I appreciate the love, my sister. And to all those that are watching the show and leaving these amazing comments, this is for you guys. You guys are simply amazing. You show a lot of love. I know, dear brothers, dear sisters, you know, we're here for you guys. But today, DBDS stands for Dope Brothers and Dope Sisters, because you guys are on fire. Trust me, you guys are on fire. I just want to give some shout outs to some of the people. Special shout out to my sister Cameron, my DBDS sister. Shout out to Naomi. Shout out to my man Dwight. Keisha, love you, girl. My sister Ville, Kenneth, Tiana, Kete, my brother Ken, Jamila, Mel Wu. Oh, another Mel. Appreciate that. Much love. My brother Greg, KK Buns. Okay, that's different. Shout out. And my brother Gotham, he's watching on the other side of the world. He's in Bangalore, India. Shout out to him. It's my personal page. So we appreciate you, everyone, tuning in, and we're going to keep the show going. So the next topic that we're going to hit on that can make you less desirable as a man is unwilling to grow. You know, this brother just focused on something else. No, but we're going to go ahead and touch on this topic right here. So the thing is that when you're unwilling to grow, I feel like you're living like your second childhood. Accept the choices they make in life, or I'll say accept any responsibility which will have them move forward in life to be the best man they can be. Some of them tend to fall off the wagon and stay off the wagon. And that's not a good place to be, because you're refusing to grow, you know. So I'm coming to my sister Charay. What are your insight on brothers that just refuse to grow? They just, you know, what's your insight on that?
Okay, look, I know I'm the only female here, but you don't gotta come to me first. I can be in the middle. Wait, this way. Okay. In between. But I mean, you have to grow. We all have to grow. Everybody have to grow. Shoot. Animals need to grow. Plants have to grow. You know, you have to grow. If you don't grow, you don't thrive. You don't fly. You don't become better than you was before. And we're not supposed to be naturally stagnant in a certain position, because then, you know, we can't, life, everything is changing. Technology is changing. So, you know, if we don't grow, we don't learn, we don't become better, then we will just fall off the place, basically Earth, you know. So we have to grow. And there's many ways that you can do that. One way is maybe in a relationship, doing more things together as a couple. Basically sharing certain maybe examples of where you see the relationship going, or what things you can do to become better. You have to communicate that, you have to listen, and then you have to execute that. But you first have to have that willingness to want to grow, because if not, then it's just going to be words flying. You know, you're just going to be there and nothing is going to be flourishing.
Okay. Absolutely. We don't want you to be stagnated. You know, you got to grow. Absolutely. If you can't embrace change or be flexible or open-minded, you're never going to grow. I'm coming to my brother Frank. What are your thoughts on this topic?
I think this is a big topic too in relationships, because a lot of relationships are stagnant because of the man's inability to mature. You know, you think about even the picture you had was this guy playing games. And don't get me wrong, I don't think necessarily playing games, because 24 hours in a day, you got to have something that you do that is for your leisure. I think when people talk about well, this is one of the things that would deter me from wanting to be in a relationship with you, or will make you lose appeal to me. I use this acronym for GROW, and it's called getting rid of what's wasteful. And I think that's what it is with women when they're looking at the men in their lives. It's like, hey, I need you to grasp responsibility by the horns, and I want you to get rid of what's wasteful. And I want our family to always be flourishing, heading in the right direction, doing the best we can. Of course, ensuring that our family is rock solid in every way. But a lot of times the issues I've always had is if you're doing things that are wasteful, that is when your significant other will begin to feel certain ways towards you because you're wasting your time, whether it's just hanging with a friend that you know she knows is deterring you from being great, or working at a job that she knows, look, you've been doing this for 10 years, you can do something different, you got more in you, or just the things that she sees in you that appeal to her. Because I feel like the same way that men are attracted to beauty, I think women are attracted to power. And if you're sitting still and you're not growing, they see that as a lack of power in your life. What you want to do is you want to always be doing things, because the more they see power, the more they love.
Okay. Enough said on that. I mean, that is so true. I mean, even just reading, I'm a collector, man. I love reading books, right? So just even in Egyptian times, the way that they broke things down was to show the social status sphere. Like the more the social status you go up, the more power you get, you know. And those were the brothers that just went out there and they were knowledgeable and they were building things and so forth. So very well said. Powerful, my man. I'm coming to my man Carl. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I agree a lot too with Frank, with just coming towards that end part, you know, the power that women see in that with a man growing, you know, because it adds to a level of confidence, you know, that, like you said, that attractiveness that's there. So when you are, you know, as a man, you're sitting idle, you're not doing anything, you're not growing. And it's like I said earlier, whatever you went through when you were younger, you have no control over that. Where you're at now, you're responsible. So you're responsible for your own personal growth. And I tell people all the time, you'll do everything you need to do to grow on your job. You'll do what you need to do to grow if you're playing sports. You know, if you're in ministry, you'll do things to enhance your abilities in ministry. We'll do all these different things, but in a relationship, we refuse to do the things that help us grow and mature in a relationship. You know, we change as people as we go older. And if you're not, it's like the dot staying up with inflation. If you're not keeping up with the inflation in your relationship, you're losing out. You're now in the negative because you're not willing to, you know, increase the cost of living of your relationship. You're not willing to do that work. You're not willing to enhance yourself. And again, there's so much stuff out there. There's self-help books. There's video. There are coaches available. You know, you could, if you're willing to spend $60, $70 on a video game, if that's something you want to do in your relaxation time, then take $50 and talk to a coach. You know, if you're willing to go and spend $250 a month on a new pair of J's, take $50 and go talk to a coach and grow. And the ability is there. It's just, are you willing to put the effort in to grow? You know, if you stay stagnant, you're going to lose out. And yes, and of course, women are going to lose that attraction to you. They're going to sit there and they're going to say, I can't do this no more because you're not, you know, you're stuck on this dead end job, or you have the ability to do this, or, you know, I can't even communicate with you anymore because you're not willing to enhance your knowledge. Right. Whatever you always did is not going to work for you. You got to come away from that. You got to be willing. And I think for some men, it is a struggle to do something new, because we do as men get comfortable sometimes, you know, what we know, and what we're sure of, because we don't want to make that mistake. But, right, you know, it's better to fail forward than to fail for not trying. There's a big difference. Right. If you fail going forward, at least you're going in the right direction, and that comes from maturity and growth. So now you're growing. You're going to make mistakes, but do it going forward. Don't make mistakes sitting still, because all you're doing is digging a hole. You're running in place, digging a hole, and digging yourself a ditch that you end up by yourself.
Okay. You know, when I tell my brothers out there, you have to be a risk taker. You have to take calculated risks. You have to, you know, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Live on the edge. That's how you grow, you know. So I'm going to just pull up a couple of comments right here for my sister Nettie. Okay.
Yeah, she said, I feel that some men don't grow because they are afraid to lose what they have, and they are afraid to lose what they know and choose to stick with what they think works. That's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah, gotta be a risk taker. My sister Ville.
She said, I agree that women are attracted to power. For me, it shows your ability to be a leader, a provider, and to be accountable.
Yes, very well said. Thank you, Ville, for that comment. Now, here's a follow-up question. I'll put this right on the board for one of our sisters.
She said, Naomi said, what is the difference between being unwilling to grow and just not being compatible?
So I'll have you answer her question first, Carl, and then I'll come to Frank, and I'll come to Charay, then I'll come to Frank. Go ahead,
Carl. That's a good question.
Mm.
The willingness to be, again, if you're looking at a situation where you know this person has this potential and you're just not operating their potential because they don't want to do it. Again, they don't want to grow. They don't want to mature. That's one thing. Not being compatible usually may come from your spiritual walk, relationship values. You know, the compatibility comes from your core, your values, your deal breakers, your boundaries. That's where you're not compatible, because those are the things that you should have checked off before you got in a relationship. So when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not compatible with this person anymore," what changed? Did you? Because you should have known what you weren't going to be compatible with before you got in that relationship. And I do know people change, but we got to be careful when we start using the compatibility word in that situation. But from a growth standpoint, if somebody's just not willing to, like you said, we were talking about, if he's on the job and he's not going nowhere and he's making $9.75 an hour and he's just happy with that, and you know he can go out and go make $25 an hour, he's not willing to grow. That's a different stamp, the conversation you're having with him, that he needs to leave the job, because he may just stay at the job because his homeboy's working at the job. You know, so that's a growth thing from that. He may need to get away from that. And just want to come back real thing on the growth thing real quick.
Okay.
We got to be careful who we surround ourselves with. You know, so I say this to the ladies, when you're, I say same thing, go back to men also, but when you're dating someone, you know, sometimes you need to look at who he's dealing with before you get into, you know, when you're in that beginning stage. Right. You know, because if he's running with guys that are running the street and hitting the club and smoking a blunt every other day, and they got to get drunk every day, this and this, you know, he may have some of those traits still within him. Mm-hmm. And he may not grow away from that because those are his homeboys. So, you know, vice versa could be said in a different topic, but I think you need to pay attention to that.
Very well said. Thank you, Carl. I'm coming to my sister Charay. What is the difference between being unwilling to grow and just not being compatible? What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with Carl. I mean, it is a difference between unwilling to go and being compatible. You know, not being compatible is, you know, if someone says, "Oh, well, I like to go out every weekend," someone says, "Well, I like to be a homebody," you know, gotcha. That can really be a dodgeball in the relationship. But again, like he stated, that's something that should have been known in the beginning. And if it was known, then it shouldn't have been ignored, you know, or it should have been talked about, or it should have been discussed and see how can we meet in the middle. But the unwilling to grow, as he stated as well, you know, if someone, you know, needs to take a better job to build for their family and they're choosing not to because they're just being lazy, like that's just not acceptable. And again, it won't help thrive or, you know, be of any benefit to the relationship or the marriage.
Okay.
So it's definitely two different things.
Thank you, my sister. Appreciate that comment. And I'm coming to my brother Frank. What's the difference? What's your insight on that?
Yeah, my insight on that is exactly what's been said before. I think compatibility is something you handle on the front end. And if you take care of that on the front end, it'll make it easier for you when it comes to growing, because growth is all about the work of the relationship. working on the relationship, working in the relationship. That's what growth is all about. Growing together, or applauding your partner as they grow, as they ascend and do greater things in the relationship. So a compatibility should have been taken care of on the front end. Right. But even if you are the most compatible couple in the world, you still gonna have to work to grow together. Yeah. So it's not like anything is dead or dying. It's just you gotta put the work in. You gotta put your overalls on and work.
Okay.
Forever growing.
Thank you for that amazing question. Appreciate that, Naomi. All right. So, before I'll pull up one more comment, we're going to take one last commercial break. And when we come back, we'll do our Jerry Springer moment. But let me just pull up this last comment right here.
Lori said, birds of a feather flock together.
Right on. Absolutely. So, one last commercial break. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here, where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How did we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
All right, welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, here with my brother, Frank Henderson, my sister, Charay, and my brother, DBDS partner, Carl. And listen, we've just been chopping it up, breaking it down. We've been talking about the qualities that are less desirable as a man. And, before we hit up our Jerry Springer moment, listen, if you want to see more of these gems, make sure you go to our YouTube channel, DBDS Live. I'll go ahead and put that right at the bottom of the screen. So go to DBDS Live. So that way you can get these nuggets and apply them to your life, whether it's spiritually, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally. These are nuggets that will help you to grow. Okay. So with that being said, it is time for our Jerry Springer moment. And the first person I'm coming to for the Jerry Springer moment is my sister, Charay. What are your final thoughts?
He just don't listen. Don't listen. Don't listen. Just don't listen.
Hey. On the show, ladies first. On the show, ladies always first. Ladies always first. I gotta be a gentleman. My people. So, Charay, what are your final thoughts?
I just looked up and I want to give just 4 encouraging life quotes. One of them that I saw was that to know that the struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. Always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. And that coincides with growing. To encourage yourself, believe in yourself, and to love yourself. And if you love yourself, and as God instructs for us to love ourselves, we will love our neighbor. Thus, we will love our wife. This is for the men, so their wives. And that to know that today will never come again. So we have to live in the moment.
Very well said. Appreciate that, my sister. And now I'm coming to my brother, Frank.
Okay.
What are your final thoughts for today's show?
And my final thoughts are one of the greatest things you could ever do is be in a love relationship. And someone that cares about you, it is an extension of God and the earth to you, that puts their hands on you, that loves you, that cares for you, that encourages you, and that you guys can sit down and eat dinner together and ride in the car together, check a movie out, raise some babies, buy some houses. It's one of the most beautiful things ever. And so always cherish it, always treasure it, give your best shot, do everything you can, lock all the way in, keep your vows, and just take life to another level together. That's the best thing.
Nothing like being in love, man. Man, very well said, Mr. Henderson. Appreciate that. And now I'm coming to my brother, DBDS life coach Carl. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
Phenomenal show again, and Charay, Frank, appreciate you guys today. Just really for men, just understand you can be vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with accountability. Those two things will allow you to grow. Sometimes, that's why I said before, fail going forward instead of failing sitting still. So as you look, you can't, and Charay said, you can't get back today. Once today is over and tomorrow starts, you can't get it back. So what are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your idle time? What are you doing to grow yourself? What self-help are you taking in and using for yourself? Especially if you're single and you're looking to be in a relationship. Now is the key time to do the work so that when you enter into that relationship, you can, as Brother Frank said, you can experience that love, that unconditional love. You can experience, that peace when you come home. You can experience, it's euphoric, really, when you're in that position of type of love in a relationship. But now's the time to do the work. And if you're in a relationship and you feel like things are not going well, take a look in the mirror and say, where can I grow? Because even though we're partners in a relationship, the man and the woman, the man's is supposed to lead. So if you're growing and you're growing the right way and leading the right way, you're pulling your family along. You pull your wife along by your side and your children on your back by you growing. So, but if you stay stagnant, your family stays right where you're at. So you can't get better. Your family can't do better if you don't do better. So remember that you got to grow. So just figure out where it is that you can punctuate and grow in yourself, and watch your family grow, watch your relationship grow, watch your wife or your significant other grow because you're growing. Sometimes you'll see a flower, or just take this when you got a garden. Just say your wife is the flower and you're a tree. And she's growing, but because you're not growing, the sun is destroying her. But if you grow properly and extend your leaves and your branches, now you're covering the flowers and giving it just enough shade. She gets to grow and blossom into a wonderful flower that pollinates the rest of the garden and becomes another flower for your children. Now you get to watch as this tree, these flowers growing into a legacy around. So growth is big. It's big. I do it every day. I make it part of my life, personal growth every day. And you should never, ever stop trying to grow.
Okay. Very poetic and very visual too. Man, very powerful. Listen, before I provide you with my final thoughts, I just want to thank this amazing panel and a special shout out to the DBDS family. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys rocking with us throughout the show. Also, we will be making that announcement of our dearbrothersdearsisters.com website, which is coming soon, as well as a new page called DBDS Inner Circle. That will only be for those that will want more valuable information. So my final thoughts for today's show is, instead of self-confidence, many men have unattractive, needy behavior that drives women away. And therefore, your insecurities affect your words and actions. But it's never too late, because, listen, you can change your mindset and reinvent yourself in a positive manner. In other words, you're not an animal where their goals are only self-preservation and protection, which is very limited. You're a man. You're a man. And what you have is creative imagination, in which you can use to formulate a variety of different goals to achieve, and different character traits to improve to become a better man. All right. So once again, thank you to this amazing panel, and much love to the DBDS family.
Take it away, Mel.